All right, what's going on, everyone? As promised, showcasing, showcasing my Libromancer profile once again, discussing how it performed at locals, what I learned from it, and what's the move. So, as you see here, was pretty much the build that you see on screen, the build that I ran at locals, build that was on the recent video. Now, built to local hypergrade sprite, um, a wander Reeves, that one fusion, ton of tier laments. I even faced a sword soul, which is interesting, to say the least. And I faced it. Now, so I got a pretty good variety of exposure. Now, granted, it's a small sample size, only tools. Deck did not perform as I would. Pretty much going to tie. If you count the last game a tie, it was really against a friend and kind of like went into time and we tied 1-1. So I guess you could say it was a tie. But regardless, the deck did not perform as I wanted to. I felt that I was throwing hand traps at decks and effective, say, like against Bright match, against the Sword Soul matchup. Hand traps just weren't cutting it. Of course, against, but yeah, I think I learned that gotta move away from hand traps, especially in decks like this one where I can run 12, but I can't run like I can't see consistently see two hand is which to stop the or high power meta decks of the tier. Actually, you might need three hand traps because if you don't have three, they're still gonna. So yeah, that's that. Now, as far as my engine, I think I was correct to engine that I did. I did end up making some slight adjustments, but you'll see. So again, this is the deck profile that I ran at local. That hand traps aren't as effective. I learned that my deck is sensitive to hand traps itself, though. Getting interrupt without having all engine, you're not ending on board. It can be tough. That being said, how do we solve this? So now we're gonna go to the 2.0 version. Took what we learned from locals, adjusted. First of all, I felt like I wasn't seeing comp. I felt like running like a 42 card deck rather than strictly to 40, actually 9 for Goblin here. This is definitely gonna help my consistency. Granted, this card could actually be like third Zeon, third Foxy Tomb, or even the third Illusion of Chaos. That'd be great. Now I did cut an Illusion of Chaos because I thought that like 3 was too much. Like I think I gotta prioritize seeing new engine in the deck, which is Board Breakers. Discuss those rather than seeing the ritual so much because granted that I just draw Punk Engine can usually draw me and subsequently into the ritual. I can off the Punk +2, I can see rituals, I could see Libra. So, that being said, we're keeping the Punk Engine the same. 2 Ogre to search Rhoda of the deck, the 2 Foxy 2 special summon from the deck, Shirakuza for the fusion and quick sync on the opponent's turn, the Wagon for the Peter's Field spell search, which then nets us 2 draws and a special summon. Xiamen, the boy of the deck. I cut to 2 because there was times where like I was seeing 3 in my hand or 2 in my hand, and that's not really good. I cut it down to 2. Cutting down to 2, but then cutting down the deck to basically 39. Same thing, like not losing consistency there. We're already seeing Punk engineering retailing, right? Cutting down to only 1 ogre. It's the only hand trap of the deck because it's searchable, and that's how you end on 2 interruptions. Bounce for 3 or 4, plus the Ogre pop, just with Punk Engine alone. And that nets you 2 cards too, which is netting you either like the ritual combo, or it's also netting extremely high impactful cards like Dark Ruler No More, which obviously it's not an interruption on your opponent's turn. But if you see it, you could always pitch it off Souls to try to search for other things. And then, which is the beauty of the deck, and Droplet and Super Poly, huge in the deck, especially in a deck that draws so much. You can afford to send off Droplet and Super Poly. And now you're obviously making room as Super Poly targets for the format, Mud Dragon and Garura. That being said, still keeping the Libromancer engine tight. We cut down to 2 fire because, granted, honestly, um, Libromancer engine is good when you have a ritual in your hand. If you don't have a ritual, it's not good. So cut down minimal to a minimal package: 2 fire, 2 Geek Boy, um, 2 field spells, 1 trap, 1 ritual that gets you the trap, and one where is the agent, which nets you the follow up like board where you can summon out like basically 3 more Libromancers plus the ritual and go for the day, and it on negate if you need it. Anyways, um, yeah, so it's minimal Libro. We just really cut one name, but minimal Libro engine. Um, thus maximizing your chances of seeing Punk combo, plus seeing like board breakers like Droplet, Poly, or Darker. I believe this deck has going second with a 6 draw. Because of the upstart, it has over an 80% chance of seeing a board breaker. Typically, you just need one. Honestly, a lot of times you just need one to be able to play through. So it's huge. Granted, other than like having to play hand traps, like if I was playing hand traps, I'd have to play, or I'd have to play, I think, like, was it 18, see more consistently, which sometimes won't even be enough. But the board breaker by itself is enough. Second, and obviously Poly and drop into always keeping the E-Tellies at 3s. And the last thing to talk about is just preparation of rights is huge, so you still keep it at 3 with 2 illusions and 1. Now, the beauty of Souls now is that Souls has so much more to send, right? We have Dark Rulers to send, Droplets to send, Super Polys to send, not to mention the other spells you could send for additional pluses, right? For additional, hey, I gotta dig for my. So beauty of Souls now. Souls gets better. Now moving on to the extra deck, you see the change we made. Added the Super Poly targets we already discussed. Kept keeping the Baron, Amazing Dragon, the Punk, and the Herald, and the Abyss that stays the same. Those are high impact cards. Boral Sword stays the same. Appaloosa stays the same. Heat Soul Talker, Unicorn, track back to get into Heat Talker without expending. And Cross Sheep. You see, we had to make some cuts, so we cut the Super Poly targets. Two suspects we cut were Punisher. Obviously, I didn't really see myself going to Punisher much. Punisher is something that would come out like maybe going second, maybe in like top back turn. If you have like the body on board, which is kind of rare, to have like the 8 and 3 again. So it doesn't really come up that much. And also the dark. Honestly, I don't even know what I was thinking dark at the first. I thought I was thinking like, oh, souls make dark or ogre dance make dark. Nah, truth is you're using souls for your combo line. You're using ogre to like search. You're hardly putting them on board to have actually not target for. We cut that. Other than instead of cutting everything else. Now, I think in the long run, I might have to put Punisher back in because Punisher is also like my out to like big threats that otherwise I can't deal with. But that is where I'm at right now. So yeah, I feel pretty confident about it. I think the side deck pretty much stays the same. We can look back at the side deck I was running originally. The 3 Nibs and the 2 Spooky Dogwoods is huge against like the big tier combo players like my friends, a couple of my friends that they want to rip all your spells or make your spells kind of nothing spell cancelers. So just kind of stops them. Obviously, back row Mystic Mind. Hate for that. I like running 6. I know a lot of people run 5, especially in the 40 card deck or 39. You run 5, but I like 6. I think having 6 is, I think it's better. I'd rather just have the 6 instead of having 6 instead of having the extra dogwood or something. I guess you could sub like maybe 1 cosmic or Prankatops because Prankatops is format, so maybe that's something forward. Prankatops massive. It's kind of a lot of going first, I love me the Appointer, even it's at 1. And then 3 anti-spell fragments for like most decks rely on spells, and green decks especially, like you flip this up, they don't have like the pop. Oh, gee. They're not doing crap. They're not doing. Not gonna be able to activate the pluses. It's gonna be a hard time for them. So yeah, I think this is a huge card this form. So yeah, that's pretty much it um, for my discussion. I hope you guys kind of picked up on some insight from this. The combo still stays the same. We're still, off the punk combo. We're netting 2 cards, and we're ending on 2 high impact or 1 ogre interruption and 1 high impact bounce for 4 upon resolution, plus another draw. So that's like a +3. And then if you see ritual plus punk, you're ending on 3 to 4 interruptions, including potentially a floodgate, right? And it could be even more depending on like, hey, if you draw the super. So still a pretty good deck. I think it's a lot of fun. It's different. It's not what your average players running. So yeah, I like it. I'll still keep experimenting with it, keep learning from it. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. What's kind of coming up next is a lot of these decks that I've been tinkering with and toying with. They're not really like budget friendly, and I definitely want to look out for those that are playing Yu-Gi-Oh on a budget. Which eventually myself will probably find myself having to do, especially when on the road kids come around and more responsibilities come around. So gotta start planning now, right? So I'm gonna be looking at Tri Brigade, a good old reliable, trying to make it a little different than most people build it, for the sake of it being budget. So I'm really excited about that. I was already like toying with it today, and I'm like where things. So appreciate you guys watching, subscribe, and then comment down below what you think. What would you change in the deck? What are your thoughts? And if you've actually tried the deck, please let me know how it's gone for you. I'd love to interact with you guys and learn together. Right, that's the whole thing. I love this game. Love. Take care. Have a great night, everyone. Okay, that's the recording.